Our Father and our God, we are friends. We have the same goal, the same aspiration towards bettering ourselves. Our Lord, our Savior, except you help us, we cannot do it on our own. You are the pillar, you are the stronghold. Open our minds to understand what will be taught today. Open our brains, our assimilation level, so that we all can gain from this gathering. And these like minds, ladies, we pray that you take us from this level to another level, a higher and a better level. We cannot be here and not be better persons because people are watching us.
Lord, don't ask you to come and continue to bless us, bless our business, bless our family. We thank you and I am the right of the Lord. You cannot go and cannot stand. It did not sweat to be stand. So I thought I would not tell you.
After work, after their normal 9 to 5 job. Now, the whole concept is that we have a network of ladies who knows what they are doing, and if you don't know, you are free to ask. There is no, nothing wrong in you asking for help. In fact, that's the more reason why we are here together. And that was why we started the program with a meet and greet. Who are you? Put a face to who I've been talking to, on the platform. We have a WhatsApp group. That's how we started way back in February. And from that group, that's 500 naira for me. When we started that one, we got to begin to bond and all the rest. But we have grown beyond that. We are on Facebook now. We are close to 300 women who have connected. And it's because why we have not gone beyond that is because we made it a private, a group yet, because we don't want just all comers. We want to sieve through those who are going to be part of us. And by the help of God, our plan is that we connect to bigger businesses who will help us to grow beyond where we are. We are looking at the fashion industry. A lot of us are in the fashion industry. And I'm sure you've done a lot of it. Many are in media, many are in art and soft business, And some are selling their brains, They're selling knowledge. They are impacting knowledge. And one of them today is with us, who has written about 2 books. Who has written about 2 books already, and has, shown what an entrepreneurship mindset should be. How you have to do your business. You see, I had somebody who said, what is the essence of coming together to learn anything? I know what to do with my business. You don't know. If Dangote, as well networked, as well, known all over the world, still goes around, going to Harvard, going to other schools in the world, business schools and all the rest, are still doing all this thing and all the rest, ensuring that he learns more. What's the new process to go? Then, my friend, whoever you are, how big you think you are, you need to learn and get better. Even if you're in paid employment, why are you trained yearly? Excuse me, ladies, when you are in paid employment, you are trained yearly. Why is the company training you? Is it not to get better? To fine-tune the process they have, because every company that wants to grow, fine-tune the process they have every year. In fact, almost 6 months. Where I work, almost 6 months, they bring in, professionals to train and retrain you until you probably leave employment. So as an entrepreneur, if you say you don't need training, then you are missing a big skill. And you see, the skills for today entrepreneur is different from when my grandmother was selling, or my mom was selling way back in those days. The skills today have to be up, an inch higher, even much more. Why do I say that? Today, a lot of people are being laid off from their work. They are coming to this fair that you people are, if you don't know. A lot of people, Rem Money laid off about 4,200 of their staff. They are coming to this business. The business that you have been doing for the past 10, 20 years, and you'll be so comfortable and be superstar there. But I assure you, it's not the same thing anymore. Those people who have learned some skill while they were in those employment, they are going to bring those skills to sell whatever they're selling, or trade and whatever. And I tell you, they will hijack your business. Because one, they've had contact with the company that you are, supplying. You are probably the procurement manager there. You think they will leave that slot for you? They will not. They will take it over. And they will start doing what you have been doing, and they will do it in a better way. And that is the essence of Likewise Ladies Network. Some people have asked me, are we going to celebrate weddings and other? Definitely, we are human beings. In fact, if you don't have contact as a human being, you are dead. And I'm sure COVID-19 showed that one clearly, that we need each other. When some people went into depression, it's just because Nigeria doesn't take statistics of what happens to people in those kind of periods. And that's why we are where we are and all the rest. So, ladies, I enjoy you. When we call for this meeting, please make an attempt, to be part of it. Nothing. There's no knowledge lost. The last time we were here, we learned about the personal branding for business. And afterwards, a lot of people were asking themselves, so I don't even know myself. Afterwards, I did the coaching. I had a one-on-one with a coach. And I discovered the talents I had that all these years I've wasted. Some of it is what I'm tapping into and I'm doing with you today. I am here to learn from you. And I hope you will learn from me. And the problem with women, and I will say that, is that who is she to tell us what to do? It's a free way. Please work out. We don't want any stress in our group. Please, I want as much as possible for us to have an open mind in what we do here. There is room for correction. There is room for participation. There is room for you for growth for each and every one of us, individually and collectively. I see a women of possibility in about 5 years if we know what we are doing. Women who can come together and contribute 10 billion and say, we are focusing here. Today, Tara and Mo Abudu, whatever they are doing, they have a network of women who are doing the right things with them in their dream. So if you have a dream, believe me, there are people that can help you here. It is your choice to connect. Don't come here to gossip. We are not those kind of group, please. We are business women in everything that we do, in our totality. We will ensure and we abide by the rules that we have set. Pamphlets are being set around now, that is our rule. And it's still going to be revamped over time and all the rest. I thank you for coming. It's a Sunday, you ought to be at home. But nothing goes for nothing. You want to learn more, you want to expand your network, then you have to come out of your comfort zone. There are major business brand owners here. Thank you all for taking time. And for you that you think you are small, I tell you, today is the beginning of the greatness that we are looking for by the grace of God. I will call on our coach now without wasting time. Kuli Adeyanju has written about 2 books. The latest one is on Amazon now. Is on winner's mindset. And when I called him, I said, can you come and talk to her? Because I've read some excerpts of the book. And I was like, this thing is talking to me. Then he could talk to somebody else too. So he immediately said, entrepreneurship mindset. So ladies, I want you to welcome Rotarian Kuli Adeyanju, our speaker for today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to say thank you for having me. And I hope this session is actually going to be a very interactive and interesting session for every one of us. Please, I'll need someone to man the system for me to activate the slide. So please, like Florence rightly said, I'm going to be talking about the entrepreneurial mindset. In everything we do, there is mindsets that drives it. The thinking, how we think, drives everything we do in life. Whether we're going to be successful or the person is going to be otherwise is informed by their thinking. So thinking informs everything. And basically, if you look at it, thinking is your mindset. How you think, how your mind works, that is your thinking. So basically, we're going to be talking about what are these things that drive those entrepreneurial behavior in every one of us. And the fact is, sorry, before we go, every human being created on this earth has entrepreneurial mindsets. Because we are all created with a purpose. We all came here to fulfill a purpose. But the point is, you hear a lot of people say they are looking for their purpose. They are finding their purpose. And oftentimes when I hear this, I sort of laugh because no one can ever find their purpose. Because your purpose was never lost. You can find it. You can only discover your purpose. And how do you discover your purpose? From your gifts. What is your gift? Your gift is that thing that you do so well with the least amount of effort. That is your gift. So when you work your gift helps you to discover your purpose. So, I mean, I'm just trying to use this to set the basis for our thinking. So as we go into the presentation, we can now begin to, connect better. So next slide, please. Okay, I want to start with this phrase, survival of the fittest. I'm sure we've all had it. We all use it. I'm sure some people have even used it today. But the point is this really true? Next slide. Is it really true? Go on. Now, let's ask ourselves, where did this phrase come? Where did it come from? How did it come to you? First, to share my opinion, which I'm going to explain to you later. I don't think this is true. Survival it is not survival of the fittest. It is false, it is wrong. So now, let's ask ourselves, if I say survival of the fittest, it's wrong. Because it's a phrase we all use probably for the better part of our lives. It is what we learn. It has become what I call our personal truths. There are three kinds of truths. You have your personal truths, you have the political truths, and you have the objective truths. What is your personal truth? That thing that you believe. What you make yourself believe, that is your personal truth. Now, what is the political truth? Those are those things you hear from people over the course of your life. And you believe them. Because you heard them, everybody is saying it. And that makes you believe them. But the question is, because everybody is saying it, does that really mean it's true? That's your political truth. Now, what is the objective truth? The objective truth is science. You may disagree, you may shout, you may jump up, the fact remains the fact. So now, let's ask ourselves, where did this phrase come from? And this phrase came from misrepresentation of Charles Darwin quotes. A lot of people misquoted Charles Darwin as saying that he said it is the survivor, the strongest of the species that survives. Charles Darwin didn't say that. That's not what he said. Next slide, please. Just at the enter. Okay. This is what Charles Darwin said. Charles Darwin said, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one most adaptable to change. That is what Charles Darwin said. And before Charles Darwin died in 1882, he actually cleared this when people were misrepresenting what he said, thinking he said survival of the fittest. So it is not the strongest that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. And even when we talk about this, we say, oh, in the jungle, the jungle is the strongest that survives. It's not true. The lion is the king of the jungle, but the lion is not the strongest animal. The elephant is several times stronger than the lion. The lion is not the heaviest animal. The lion weighs about 160 kilos. Hippopotamus weigh about 2 tons, 2,000 kilos. The lion is not the smartest animal. Hyena is far smarter than the lion, but the lion is the king. The question is how? Leadership, attitude. That's what we're thinking. So, it is clear here that it is not the survival of the fittest. Rather, it is the one that is most adaptable to change. And if you liken this to your business, it is not the strongest, the biggest business that will survive into the future. It is not the most profitable business that will survive into the future. We are going to see a couple of examples further on in the slide. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. That's the one that will survive into the future. Please, I'll just take some water. Okay. Okay. Okay, next slide, please. Just enter. Okay, so as we said here, adaptability is the key. Not the strongest, not the fastest, not the biggest. And if you look at we human beings, why are we the most successful species on this planet? It is because we are the most adaptable. We are not the strongest. How many people can face a chimpanzee here? We are not the fastest. Who can run as fast as a horse or a cheetah? We are not the heaviest. But we are the most adaptable. That is why we have become the most successful species on this planet. Now, you see, there are some people who actually try to argue in time past to say, human beings are probably the most intelligent species. That is why we are the most successful species on the planet. But some people decide to disagree with this and they decide to do an experiment. And from this, you will see that's a tree. And they have this cylindrical jar tied to the tree. It's a narrow jar. The hand cannot fit in. The human hand cannot fit in. And they drop a fruit inside. And they decide to do an experiment. What they did with the human being. They brought in like 5 different human beings. You know, without any of them being known, but it was being filmed. And they said to them, go in there and get the fruit out of the glass jar. Do you know what a couple of them did? When they got there, some people took sticks and broke the jar to get the fruit out. Some people decided to use stick to, pierce into the fruit and pull it out. Okay? But basically, those are all those combination of tricks, okay, that human beings were doing to how to get the fruit out. Then after this, they took the same experiment into the jungle, where there are chimpanzees. Right? They are closest relative. The difference between our DNA, like I said, is just like 1.23%. But if you look at it, 1.23% of almost 2 billion genes is quite huge. So they brought in chimpanzee, and you know what the chimpanzee did? It was being filmed. Nobody was there. The chimpanzee went into a water body, a stream nearby, scooped water with his mouth, and kept pouring water inside the jar. Because of buoyancy, the food started rising up. And he kept pouring water until it got to the peak. And the chimpanzee just took the fruit and went. Now, tell me, let's be sincere. If you have 2 employees working for you, and you did this experiment, one decided to take a stone or a stick to break the jar, and the other one did what the chimpanzee did, who will be like a potential high flyer?
The first one.
The one that broke the jar. Or the one that scooped with the water. So, this just to tell you that, yes, we are intelligent, but the animals are not foolish. They are not foolish. For you to see an animal to do this, it tells you their level of thinking too. So, we are successful species on this planet just because we are the most adaptable. Not because we are the strongest, which we are not. And so I'm using this just to set the basis, to set our thinking, so that we can begin to relate this to our businesses. It is not the biggest business that will survive into the future. It is not the most profitable, but rather the one most adaptable to change. Next slide, please. Okay, so just as we said, we are the most adaptable, and that's why we are the most successful. But let's relate this to our life as an entrepreneur. Like we said, it is not the biggest businesses, not the most profitable that will survive into the future, but the one most adaptable to change. And like I said, I brought in some examples here so we can actually see that this has really happened in our lifetime. Kodak, we all knew Kodak. The biggest photographic company in the world then. But what happened? Where is Kodak today? And what happened with Kodak? They actually invented digital photography. They are the ones that pioneered that technology. But they failed to adopt that technology. They failed to embrace it. They failed to adapt their businesses. And that technology they invented wiped them out. Nokia, I mean, when GSM started in Nigeria, if you have a handset then a prime handset, it's a Nokia phone. But where is Nokia today? There's no company like Nokia. Been bought over by Microsoft. You know, in their heydays, they own about 68% of market share, mobile phone market share. Well, where are they today? GM, General Motors, I mean, used to be the #1 car maker in the world. Right? But General Motors is gone. Though you might still see General Motors, but it's not the same General Motors. The General Motors you are seeing now is General Motors Company, not General Motors. They bought over the old General Motors and just named it as General Motors Company. So these are businesses that fail to invent themselves, fail to adapt to the changing environment, and that's why they are gone. Compaq, I mean, when we started using laptops, and it was Compaq. There's no Compaq anymore. Bought over by HP. They are all gone into history. Now also, because Florence told me about some people trying to, exit from the paid employment into the entrepreneurial world. I decided to put this as an employee in an organization. Let's ask ourselves: is it the most intelligent or the best performer that gets promoted? It's not. It is the employee that is most adaptable to the system at the workplace. And oftentimes, what is the phrase people use for it? Politics, office politics. But that is the system. So if we want to drive our business into the future, the only way is to prepare our mind and make sure we are adaptable to changing environment. Because whether we like it or not, change is gonna come. There are changing consumer preferences. Okay, changes in the way we do businesses, changes in our supply chain. A whole lot of changes are coming. So it's only those that embrace this change fast enough that will survive into the near future. Now, I have this picture here. It's a very powerful picture. I'm sure when I tell the story around it, you guys are going to understand it. What I'm trying to say here. Here is the picture of a gazelle. I'm sure we all know a gazelle. And that is the picture of a lion. I actually like lions. So, now if you look at this gazelle and this lion, this is actually a picture of what happened in the African safari. Every day, a lion wakes up. A gazelle also wakes up every day. But you know what happened? The gazelle just wants to survive so it can live another day. And the lion also wants to eat so that he can live another day. So you find that in our businesses, we always have these conflicting issues. And we find out, how do we go about this? How do we apportion resources to these divergent thoughts, these divergent ideas? This is a clear example. The gazelle wants to survive just to live another day. The lion needs to eat so that he also can live another day. So the question here is, who wins? I'm sure some people want to say it's the lion. But it's not the lion. And it's also not the gazelle. So who wins? The one that cares the most. That's the one that wins. Next.
Excuse me. So which of them cares first?
We're gonna focus. Okay, sorry, maybe I didn't state this, but please, there will be room for questions. She's actually told me no, it's all right. We're gonna give you enough time for questions. Okay, so here, It is not the lion, it is not the gazelle, it's either of them that cares the most. That's the one that is going to win. And how do you know the one that cares the most? The lion could say to itself, I need to chase this gazelle. I need to eat. But again, it's going to tell itself, if I burn my energy, everything chasing this gazelle, and I can't catch it, tomorrow I'm going to be in trouble. I may not survive tomorrow because there won't be energy enough to chase the next prey. The gazelle also will tell itself, okay, if you look at the other picture there, you see, the gazelle, they have a defense mechanism. They go about in a pack. Right. You see, the strategy for the gazelle to survive is not to outrun the fastest lion, but to outrun the slowest gazelle. That's the strategy. You know, there are so many gazelles. Just the same way there are so many businesses. And like Florence said, a lot of people are coming into businesses. So just like the strategy of the gazelle here, it is not to outrun the fastest lion. You know, because once you outrun the fastest lion, it's outside the pack. It's exposed. The strategy is just to outrun the slowest gazelle. You know, lions, they don't like to chase, but they chase out of necessity. So they look for the slowest one, the weaker ones, and that's the one they go for. But you know, this other prey, like other challenges we have in the business world, a lot of people look at it and say, oh, financing is the key problem. But really, it's not. If you are resourceful enough, finance will come. It is more of the entrepreneurial vision. That is the key problem. You have a host of other issues, but the key challenges that affect businesses is the entrepreneurial vision. So, if you look at, like I said, lions don't like to chase. They like to go for the weaker ones. But look at a cheetah. Cheetah likes to run. So, they like to chase. So, a gazelle knows this. So, they form the pack. The gazelle that will survive will make sure they remain in the pack. And that is discipline. Can you imagine doing the same thing every day, every week, every month, every year? That is consistent, standardized practices. For people who work in the oil sector, there's a phrase they call it the leader standard work. That's just what it is. And that's actually what they teach people in the oil sector. Just develop a standardized practices that works. Consistent, structured, standardized practices. Implement it. Success will come. So it is the gazelle that is most disciplined, that has that willpower to make sure that it's disciplined. That's the one that will survive. And also, it is the lion that is also most disciplined to manage his strength. It's also the one that will survive. So whoever does the most among them is the one that wins. Now, we have seen the importance of discipline and willpower. It is a key driver in business growth. But let's ask ourselves, how did we develop our willpower? Where did this come from? You know, we are in a stage in the world now where it is not enough to know something. I mean, you can't just tell somebody this is X plus Y is Z. No. We want to know how this came to be. We're in that world now where we want to know how things come to be. We just don't want to know the answer. We want to know how did this come to be. That's the world we live in now. So, excuse me. So, where did our willpower come from? There's an experiment called the marshmallow experiment. This experiment was done in Stanford University. You can read more about it. There's a professor called Walter Michel. She decided to find out, how does willpower help success? How does it aid success in life? And also there's the second part of the experiment, which is, where did this willpower actually come from? How did we develop it? I'll talk about the first experiment. What they did was to gather some group of toddlers, children, young children, and about 25 of them, they put them in a hall. And they put marshmallow in front of them. And they said to the children, to the toddlers rather, this is one marshmallow. You can have one marshmallow, only one. But if you decide to wait for 15 minutes, you will get the second marshmallow. So making two. So make a choice. And they left the room. Everything was being recorded. And you find out that some children decide to wait, that long, 15 minutes for it. But some others didn't wait. They just went, take what you can take and just eat that one. And they filtered out these children. 30 years later, they went to look at these children, how they were doing. And they found out those children that demonstrated that strong willpower, that discipline to wait, were all doing exceptionally well in their careers, in their businesses, in their marriage life. Everything they were doing quite well. But those ones that refused, didn't wait that 15 minutes, like the mindset of shortcuts, quick wins, they don't want delayed gratification, just grab what you can grab. That mindset has driven everything they're doing. And what happened? There are people who are having problems in their career, problems in their marriages, some of them have been in jail. That's to tell you how important willpower and self-discipline is in success. All right, so the third one I want to share is the willpower test and how do we manage our willpower. As entrepreneurs, we need to know how to manage our willpower and how to use it. They did another little experiment to see what willpower is. Can it be there forever? And how do we use it? What they did was they brought some group of adults together and they divided them into two groups. The first group, they gave them bland radish, all this Indian bread, just this flat white bread, the bland radish. They gave them that. The other group, they gave them the radish like with home plus hummus, like with butter. And so they allowed them to feast themselves. They are separated, they are not seeing each other. Then after they feasted themselves well, what they did was they now gave them an impossible puzzle to solve. They know the puzzle was impossible, but they gave it to them to solve. The first group, right, the group that ate the bland radish, went on trying to solve the puzzle. Then after a while, they gave up. But guess what? The second group that feasted themselves well, bland radish with hummus, with butter and all that, they went on for another 7 minutes after the first group have actually completed the task. What was the conclusion from this experiment? The conclusion is willpower, discipline is like a muscle. It gets tired over time. So as an entrepreneur, as business owner, you must learn when to use our willpower. Early in the morning when we are fresh, let's take the strategic decisions. Because when you get tired later in the day, your quality of decision goes down. So we need to know how to manage our willpower. No, sorry, go back. Now, the one I actually want to talk about here is, I said earlier, which is how people use their entrepreneurial mindset. I said earlier that every human being created by this earth has the entrepreneurial mindset because we all have a purpose. Our purpose is not to come to this world and work for someone else. That is not our life purpose. Nobody was given a gift, that the gift you are given is to go and use it to build someone else's dream. Your gift is to build your own dreams. That is why it is a gift that is given to you. And that is why only you know your gift. That is why you find that some people, when they are working on their gift, right, people around them keep saying, you're wasting your time. This wouldn't work. This can be. But you see people who stick to that, their gift, and keep working on it. Finally, when they succeed, say, oh, I never knew it was going to be like this. Oh, So this thing can work. Why? Is because those people then can't see your gift. And you can't blame them because it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. So if they can't see my gift, I can't quarrel with them. But I can see my gift. Then I have to use my willpower. Remain focused. There will be distractions. There will be a lot of issues. There will be murky waters along the way, yes. But what is my willpower? How am I using it to maintain my focus on my gifts? So how do people use their entrepreneurial mindset? How do people lose their entrepreneurial mindset? Let's look at this. For people who go to work, who work for someone, or even those of us who run businesses. Imagine a Monday, tomorrow. Everybody's going to go to work. Let's assume there is no COVID, there's no work from home. Everybody goes to work. What happened? We get up from the same side of the bed. You sleep on your bed the night before. You get up, I don't know, whatever time you get up. You get up from the same side of the bed. What do? You sleep on your slippers. You go to the restroom. You use the restroom the way you normally do. You take your shower and you come out. You dress up the same way you normally dress, where you normally dress, probably in front of your dressing mirror or wherever. Then you get into your car, drive to work the same way you've been driving to work before. Then when you get to work, you do the same thing you have been doing that you are expert at, that you do so well. You meet the same people, interact with the same people, get the same emotions from around the same people. Then what happens? You close from work, you go back home. You drive home the same way you've driven several days, several years. Then you go home, you do the same thing you normally do, probably sit down in front of a TV, the same way you sit down, watch TV, then probably maybe 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, turn on the TV, go to bed. That's an example of most people like how it happens. But the question is, let's ask ourselves, did their brain do anything different in their life that day? Because you're only doing the same thing you know. So your brain has not changed. So if your brain has not changed, when everything you are doing is equal to what you know, how can your life change? That's the truth. How can it change? We can pray from now till next year. It's not going to change. So that is how people lose their entrepreneurial mindset. They keep doing the same thing they know, day in, day out, and time just fly by. I mean, you look at people when they, in their early career days, when they just get employed, you hear them with these big dreams, lofty ideas. Oh, I'm just going to work here for 5 years or 7 years, then I'll quit. I'll go and do my own thing. 15 years later, they're still there. So what happened to all those beautiful dreams, all those lofty ideas? What happened to them? This is what happened to them. That is how people lose their entrepreneurial mindset. So what are these entrepreneurial mindsets? They are almost everything we know. You know, like I tell people, success is very simple. Very simple. I didn't say easy. I didn't say easy because she was looking at me. But it's very simple, but not easy. It takes a lot of hard work. But it's simple because the principles are simple. So, we'll go to that, but let's talk about the entrepreneurial mindset. So these are specific set of beliefs, knowledge, and thought processes that drive the entrepreneurial behavior. We all know that to be an entrepreneur, you must be self-driven. You should be a self-starter. You must be self-directed. You should be able to focus and work your own path. You should be among those kind of people. They say, you know, those that walk alone, they have the strongest direction. Those that fly alone have the strongest wings. You know, you have that phrase before. So,
my name is Abimbola Balogun. I'm a jewelry designer. I've been in business for 14 years, counting. And before I ask the question, I'd like to thank you for what you have. Your voice is so soft, so it felt like I should that's so soothing. I just feel like I just wanted to continue the lecture. That being said, I want to know how you know that an entrepreneur is successful. Is it by I'm not sure it's by the many years of being in business. So how do you tell that I'm a successful businesswoman? That's one. Then two, you mentioned that everybody has a gift. Yes, we all know that we have a gift. From what you said, it applied to me that, or I interpreted it in this way that it's not dignifying to work for someone because everybody has a gift and the gift is for you. Do you understand? The gift is for you. So why would you use your gift for someone else? So is it not, and it implies also that everybody should be an entrepreneur. It's not dignifying to work for someone, to be in a corporate, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Yes, because those who work in the oil and gas sector, they are very well paid, and they can also, expressing their talent in that company. Yes.
Thank you, Bimo. I'll try to answer your question as best as I can. The first point you talked about is, how do you tell if you are successful? Yeah. The question is, I can't test this. Success is what you make of it. What is success to me? It may not be success. What is success to you? So, like they say, your life is what you make of it. Success in your business is what you make of it. You have your business plan. This is where I want to go. This is what I want to do by this or so time. If you achieve that thing you wanted to do, that is success. If you then achieve it, that is not success yet. But the point, one thing we know, you see a lot of people do is, they tend to lower the bar. If maybe you say, if I'm being in business in the next 5 years, I'm going to grow my business maybe to this X turnover. And in 5 years' time, you are still minus X with some minus turnover, you have not achieved that. Then people will say, oh, well, I'm not where I want to be, but at least I'm not where I used to be, which is really how would I say, a failure, a way of celebrating failures. I hear a lot of people say it, I'm not where I want to be, but at least I'm not where I used to be. That's celebrating failure.
I can't go that way.
Exactly. I can't go that way. No, hold on. Madam, I came out to say I want to achieve this. And I didn't achieve it. I missed my goal. I failed on that target. You agree with that? I have a target.
When we started, was there a lot of you? You are entrepreneurs now. I'm going to leave my job. When I leave, I'm going to join you. I'm going to bring a whole backload of experience that I've had over 28, 29 years. Kule Adeyanju, for instance, what we shall, don't be deceived by all this akadadu. What we shall. He said it. And so that experiences are counting in his book and his mindset. And how are we doing that to ourselves? Some of the problem I found with women, extremely intelligent being we are. Extremely. I'm telling you, if women push out the potential that they have, as much as it does, he's written a book. But if I sit down and tell you what is in my brain, I had a coaching class. I keep telling people, when I finished that coaching, it was a one-on-one thing. And the woman brought out 8 companies that I'm running, and I'm not putting anything out. And it's not that she's just saying that to feed me. It was a process of 4 solid weeks of training that she had with me. almost £1,000. It was expensive. The second one is about £2,000, but I would pay for it. But you see, she showed me, you have the capacity to do this much, this house, and then you are just going here, stand like this, which is what all of us are doing. Sister Ade, thank you.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Aduke.
Okay. And what's the name of your business?
Aduke Fashion.
Aduke Fashion.
Yes.
All right. Today at the Like Minds Network Meet and Greet. What were your expectations and were they met, and what have you taken away from here?
Well, I wanted to network with women, with like-minded women, and I got exactly what I was looking for. People with a different mindset than the regular, and also people that can move the network and move your business forward.
Okay. So, how have you found being in the circle of women on a day like this, and what have you taken away from the conversation that happened here by the moderator, the speaker?
We strategize, we focus, we brand.
Okay, that's what you got.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm looking for this.
My name is Kone Adeyanju. I'm a venture capitalist by profession. I'm also an author. I just released the book, Winner's Mindset, which is actually available at Amazon and Apple.
All right, so today you were a speaker at the Like Mind Ladies Network, and you were talking about the mindset. You were talking about women having a mindset that has to be channeled. So why did you choose to have this topic? Yeah.
Well, because I was told it's an entrepreneurial network, and basically, to me, that's something that's a perfect topic and something to share with people, to see how I can impact and help people build their entrepreneurial skill. And there are quite a lot of subtle information, subtle knowledge people tend to miss. And so when you come into a session like this, you talk about what people are actually doing, what they're investing their life work, and see how you can positively help them contribute and improve more. I think that's part of making the world a little bit more better than how you made it.
If we're to reach you, do you have an Instagram handle or do you have a website?
Yes, I have a website, that's pelicans.net.
Instagram?
Well, Instagram, no.